Hello, I'm Micks Mowers Merman and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be working on this Weibang Legacy 48 lawnmower, the older style one, and the drive cable's actually broke on it. It's completely snapped up the top end. So the bloke said, can you please get a cable in to repair it and replace it and get it done? Yeah, no problem. What I can do with these normally is actually just do a fix, a Micks Mowers fix on how to repair your cables. But these are actually quite a thicker, heavy duty cable. They're not the standard 1.5 ones. They're probably about 2.5mm cables, so they're a bit more heavy duty. And I said I would replace the cable in its entirety. You may get a bit of noise because I have got a builder next door put up a summer house for Jane next door, so there will be some noise in this video. I just can't odds it. Before I come outside anyway, do it because it's so hot in the shed. We're about 27 degrees at the moment inside the shed, well outside, so it'll be about 30 degrees plus inside the shed. So I thought I'd come out and do it here, but you'll get birds cheeping, a bit of wind noise and what have you. But there you go, that's what it is. So in this video, we're going to be replacing the drive cable on this Weibang. I've not done one before, so I'll be learning as I go, but hopefully I can give you guys and girls some information on how to do it. If you believe you know how to do it better than me, then leave a comment in the comment section to say, instead of doing this way, do it that way, mate. You might save yourself a bit of time. Now this cable, I have already had a quick little inspection. This cable's got a little tiny metal U-bend on it, and my other one doesn't. So I'm hoping it is the right cable. I've been assured that it is, and we'll go from there. So without further ado, let's get down and dirty and let's get this cable off, new one fitted, and get this drive back up and working for my mate. Right, so the first thing I've got to do is where this drive cable is actually located here, here on the bottom, that's where it's snapped. I've got to take off these screws here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to undo, and then this bottom part of this throttle housing will then just come away. They are a Torx bit, so I'll get them loosened off first, and before I take it fully off, I'll come back to you. You don't want to see me undoing 6 screws and what have you, taking 5 minutes to do that. So let me get it taken off first. Before I pull it out, I'll come back to you. Right, so remove the 6 or so screws. Now they're a Torx 20, and I might get loose some screws here as I go, but just gently just prise it off, drop the bottom side down, tip it back over, because you don't want to be losing the screws out of it. And then here you better see where your cable actually is located. And it looks like it's held on by some 13mm, 12mm nuts just here. Let me go grab a spanner, loosen that off, and then we can then detach the drive cable from its actual housing itself. So let me get that done, I'll come back to you. Right, so these will be a 13mm. And all we want to do is just slacken that off, and let's do both. Once you get one working, it'll then just come on out of its little tiny holding bay all the way out. It doesn't want to come out because the cable's actually broken off this end, so just remove the end cap and then run that nut out, and then the cable end just fall on out. I'll put the nut back on. Now I'm going to keep this cable because I believe I can probably repair it with some thicker gauge cable myself at some point, make my own cable. So I'm going to put that on, try and fit that on if I can on the end, but I'm going to stab myself in the finger. There you go. So that's the cable now removed from the top part. Let's now go to the bottom side of the lawnmower, and we'll start to remove it from the bottom side, and we'll go from there. Okay, so around the other side, you've got this shield cover here. Now I'm going to remove this shield cover mainly because, pardon me, it's just be ease for visual aid for you guys. I don't think you have to actually remove it for this operation, but I just want to remove it so that you guys and girls can see what actually is going on. Otherwise you're not going to see, and then you'll be whinging at me, saying, oh, you did all that work, Mick, I couldn't see bugger all, and you're useless, Mick, and all the rest of it. So that's why I think I'm going to remove it. So these have got like a T27 bolt that comes out. They've always to be the same size. There's a 10mm there as well, I think, or 12mm. So let's just remove these. I seem to remember having this cover off before. When I service it, I greased all the chain and what have you up. So there's one here to do. I'll start to separate that cover, and then there's one over here to do as well. I don't think it's going to be too hard a job to actually do the cable on this, but it's just a bit time consuming. It's a lovely daily working out in the sunshine, though, that I do know. It's absolutely beautiful. All right, that's all that off. That give me that. Okay, so that little tiny bolt there, what's that holding on? That's just holding on a little tiny adjuster there. That's cool. Right. Don't lose no bits and bobs. Quick tidy up and I'll come back. I've now got the lawnmower up on its side, and it doesn't look like it's going to be too taxing. You've got this spring here to remove, just here. That's got to come undone, and then the cable is actually situated at the back here, and it just that just sits into place. So in all fairness, I can just get hold of that cable, bring it out of the housing of the gearbox, lift that up. It sits in like a slot. Slotted area, push that up in the air. That's the idea, like so. There goes one end, there goes the other, and then I can then bring that cable round and up. Just going to feed a bit of cable round for me, which will free it up, and then I can then tip this spring up and over. I know you can't see a lot, but off comes the spring. And then the cable in itself will then just retract all the way out of its housing. It's a little bit fiddly, but we can get there. Now it may not fit out because of the nuts and bolts you have on this other end. So I'm going to remove those, take them off, those nuts and bolts. And hopefully, with those now removed, the top end of the cable will now be a bit slimmer, and then that should then come all the way out, and the cable is now fully retracted. So if that's how it came out, then that's how it's going to go back in. So the cable in itself, which would be this one here, now you won't be able to remove the nuts and bolts off of this one here because of this spring. So you have to feed it on down through, and the access will be down through the front. So let's go around the front of the lawnmower and I'll show you where the access is. Right, to insert this cable, remove a T27 bolt just here, leave the other one in, and you just pull this cable round, pull this cover round. You can then insert your cable round, and it's got to sit into the housing on the gearbox, and then the spring has to sit on the arm. So this bit here sits inside the slot on the gearbox. I'll show you that in 2 seconds around the other side, and then that bit then goes onto the gearbox arm itself. Now this looks to be an updated cable that Weibang have done, and my cable, the other end of mine, doesn't have this metal armature. Okay, now I believe that I may have to remove that because there's a bolt right in the way of where I want to get to, and my cable will not be allowed to pass through that section with that arm on. So I believe my cable will have to have this piece removed. So I'm actually going to remove that because it serves no purpose on my old cable. This must be an upgrade for the newer model. So let me get that removed and I'll come back to you in 2 seconds. Right, now I've removed that little tiny metal plate, which is so my one didn't have one. Now I can pull the cable out a touch, and I should be able to now wangle, that's a word, wangle this into position, which has now got to sit into the gearbox housing via a cable. So we'll show you this in a minute, but there's no way I can get that in with the way the cable's actually had that other bit on there. So it's a bit of a fiddle, as always they are. They're never the easiest, but once you get the cable into position, it will then honour itself, and it will sit still where it needs to. So that's just going into place now, slowly but surely. I'm a bit blind myself at the moment, but all right, that's going in. I think that's got it actually. Yeah, that's got it. So it's got to sit right inside the cable housing, just there. You can see that. I'm trying to get you the best shot that I can. Let me try and bring it in a bit closer. You'll see at the top of the gearbox there's a little tiny slot, and it's just located just, move the cable out of the way for you. It's located just here, just there. That's where the cable housing has to sit, has to lock into there, and then go forward onto the arm the other side. So let me get it fitted on there. It's a bit of a fiddle, but I can't get you guys in there close enough of a camera to show you. Right, so I got it in, and as you can see, the end of a cable goes in this little tiny post. Let me try and get a pointer for you. So the end of a cable goes into this little tiny post just on here. Okay, there's a slot that goes across this post, and the end of the cable goes in that housing, and the cable then comes all the way down through here and then sits onto the arm just here. Okay, so that's how the cable actually is situated. It was a bit of a tight fit to get the post in on that bit there, but it is doable. Just a pedal on those pliers and just a bit of a twist and it will start to go in. Now I do have a slight concern. I think this cable, the new one, is about 2 inches shorter, so I'm hoping it's not going to be a problem for me. If it is, it'll be back down to the dealership to say wrong cable, but hopefully we'll get around it. So that's all now on. I'm now going to tip the lawnmower back onto its roller, and hopefully we can fit this other end onto the top here, and we'll have enough adjustment to do that. So let's see how we get on. Let me get it onto its side. I'll leave all the paneling off for now because I might have to take the cable back off if it is the wrong cable, but that was the right one apparently, so we shall see. Give us 2 ticks, I'll be back to you. Right, so it's all in on the far side, on the bottom side now, so that's all in, done. So this side here has now got to hook up onto the drive arm itself, and then it's got to come back and sit into there, and that's got to come off. Let me just get it fitted loosely for you, because the only way this is going to work is if when you put it on, the drive mustn't be engaged. So there's a bit of slack there. Let's just run that in. That's gone in, and now I can now run this nut down like so. Now, all the time I'm adjusting this cable, I need to be pulling the lawnmower back to make sure that the drive is not engaged, which is not at the moment. So if I engage the drive now, that's locking off, that's rolling. So there's 2 nuts on here. Just keep adjusting these nuts, keep adjusting your nuts until you feel you're about halfway down is where I'd say would be the optimum. That way it gives you a bit more stretch. When the cable stretches about there, I'm going to tighten this one up to about there. That end cap can then sit on there. So does that roll now, Mick? Yeah, it rolls, and we've got full control of the drive. That locks off. How quick does that drive lock off? Not locking off there. Yeah, about there, about halfway on the throw. So that's about right then. Okay, so that's good. So all I've done on there is, as you can see, I've just adjusted the arms so they're about, because there's a bit inside there. See, so that's about halfway. Put the cover back on, and you've got plenty of throw there now on the cable. So it is the right cable for it, but lengthwise, but it didn't need this piece here. Okay, now the reason it didn't need that piece there is because there's a nut, and you can see it right in the way. Let me get in there, right in the way, just where my finger is now. There's a nut there, and you just can't manipulate that cable around so it sits in. Okay, but now the cable's in there, and it's not kinked. The reason I put that on there is to stop the cable from kinking, but there must have been a design flaw they've found. So now that's all on, all I've got to do is put the side panel back on where it needs to be. I've got to put the panel underneath the lever control set, put that back on, put the nut back in there and tie these cables up so that these are all where they need to be, which should be about there, give or take. Put a bolt in there. I'll put it all back together. You haven't got to see me do that because you saw me take it apart. So let me get that done, and I'll come back to you. But in the meantime, my Pippi dog, she's hot. We're 27 degrees and she's hot, so I put her in the shade. Otherwise she'll be running around like a loony, because she's a spaniel, isn't it, Pippi? Yeah. And she's all nice and cool there, so that's good. Right, let me get them bits done and I'll come back to you in 2 seconds. Right, so with the Weibang now off the bench, it's important just to test the machine to make sure you can push it forwards and backwards without any handles in, and then just engage the handle for drive Now I'm trying to put it backwards and the machine locks off. So that's important to do that. So this machine's not been started for around about a week and a half. So onto throttle, dead man in. Lovely. So now the question is, does the machine now drive? So drive engaged, away it goes. Lovely. So the Weibang mower has now been fixed with a new drive cable. So that's everything it should do. Lovely. And we're good to go. So if this video has helped you out, or you want to know how to change your drive cable on your Weibang Legacy, they are the same as the newer version 2, pretty much the same. Then hopefully this video would have helped you out. If it has helped you out, leave us a big thumbs up, hit the old subscribe button and whack the old bell, set notifications to all. That way you'll be notified next time I upload a video. And I hope you guys did enjoy it. I hope to see you all very, very soon on Micks Mowers. But until then, don't forget, much more importantly, take it easy.